Today we will be discussing about a case study on web accessibility analysis on Government of India websites based on WCAG guidelines. So we all know about WWW, World Wide Web. It had been popular since a long time. So day by day it's getting importance. Government of India has taken Digital India initiative to another level, we all know. So to understand that, is it seamless? Is it really seamless? To understand that, this case study will actually help you to understand the websites, how much digitalizations are being initiated. As per last census of 2011, 2.21% of total population, that is around 26 million people, are living with some sort of disabilities in India. That's not a less of number, right? So it's important to give equal privilege to these users, and then only we can tell us truly digitalized. Government websites has a very crucial role to give equal experience to disabled users. So coming to the first points, like I think in the last lectures we have went through the conformance levels. As we know this about these three levels. You might be aware by this time of the course what is A, what is AA and what is AAA. So A, this is the most basic web accessibility feature, and this should be followed for any website development. These are the basic. AA, these are with measure, coding and also development issues, accessibility barrier to satisfy compliance with respect to AA. So this is mostly being followed in the website. However, AAA, this is good to have, but this is not mandatory. However, it's also a little bit harder to reach. World Wide Web Consortium has developed standards for website development. Web content accessibility guidelines have been developed as a part of accessibility initiative, and the current version is WCAG 3.0. Now, coming to the next part of scope. Analysis of government websites and understand how much they are compliant to W3W web accessibility guideline. Automated web accessibility tools are used for validation and report generation. So we know that no tool is completely accurate, but to understand to some extent what can be the accuracy of the websites, we still need some tools. As I said, automated web accessibility tools are used, but they are not accurate. However, we are here using Google Lighthouse and Wave. Now coming to the evaluation method. So first let me tell you about what is Google Lighthouse and Wave. They will be evaluating the websites on various criterions. Now what we will be evaluating today? We will be evaluating 10 government websites. That will include one home page and 5 random pages. Automated evaluator is used on all these pages and accessibility scores will be noted. Now, what is Lighthouse do? Lighthouse way of evaluation is 100 is fully accessible. Obviously, it's very hard to reach, but let's see. And till 90, it's considered accessible, small issues which can be fixed. 80 to 90, it's partially accessible. And below 80, it is not at all accessible. However, I would also like to add, like we have seen in the last slide, about Wave. What is it doing? It is actually helping us to understand various graphical features of the website. So it is actually judging based on the graphical features of the website, and Google Lighthouse is giving the scores. I hope now it's clear about the score and how we will be evaluating the graphical interface. Now coming to the important part. Guess the scores of these websites. Any guesses? So, Passport Seva is 66, can you imagine? And Make in India is 59. So, the most important websites which is actually pretty much used and used by any class, any kind of people of our country is having this score. So, let us see that how other websites are performing. And as I said, if the score is below 70, then there is serious coding issue. So this is the score report. As you can see, for every website, the scores are given, and we will be also seeing how the scores are actually impacting page by page. First, coming to Income Tax India, which is having page 2 under accessibility score. India Post, all are still above the margin line. As I said, Passport India is having some serious issue. Then Make India is also having really serious issue. My Government is also above the margin line. UPSC is also having above the margin line. So they are overall maintaining the guidelines as we can see by the score. But is it enough? No. We have to now see from the point of view of graphical interface. However, before going to the graphical interface, let us quickly see the average of all 5 pages. As you can see, the lowest is Passport Seva, EPF, Make in India, and the highest is UPSC Government. So, yeah, this is a good thing. Now coming to the second stage of evaluation about using Wave, which will be correcting the contrast issues of color, if there is any missing buttons or missing links, all text, all this thing. So what we can see here? We can see there are missing form labels, there are empty links, there are serious contrast errors. Now let us jump, what is it saying? So as I said, it's used in the same way on the same web pages, and we can see the graphical representation of the location of the issues. As you can see here clearly, the errors. This indicates all the components of accessibility violation. Coming to Wave report. So as I said, it is mostly on the issues of graphical interface, missing links, missing labels, etc. We can see the report of contrast, missing labels, page language missing, empty link, all text, empty button. So it's also important to see those websites, they may have got a good score in case of other, like in Google Lighthouse, their scores was good, or maybe in other tools. But in Wave report, we can see the specifically which part is missing. If it is in contrast, if it is in missing labels, if it is in empty link, all text, so on and so forth. What is the issue occurrence? Where we are missing out? On contrast, on empty link. We can see that empty link and all text is still can be an issue of coding, which can be verified and it can be solved. But what about contrast or color contrast? So here we can see the rules. I think we have already read about this numbers, these guidelines in our previous lectures. So we know that if you are not meeting this particular guidelines, then it will be considered as WCAG violations. So there may be a chance of violation, same guidelines for different issues, as I said already. So errors related to missing label, all text, empty button, AA conformance. For contrast, what is the minimum number? For headings and labels, what is the minimum? Level A and AA violation should be fixed to meet web accessibility standard. So as we already know, AAA is actually good to have, but it's not mandatory. But we must have the basic ones first, level A and level AA. And this level of conformance is not still in many government websites of India, which is actually an issue to think about. What is the common issue? As I said, contrast. Where are we missing out? Contrast or color contrast? So contrast of color in between foreground and background is very low. We also know that color contrast is very essential for low vision users, even for old people, even for people under situational impairment. Suppose you are in a bright sun, you can't see your skin, you can't see your screen. So as per standard, color contrast ratio should be 4.5:1 for small text, 3:1 for large text and images. color contrast is actually a design issue, which is not only for people with disability, it can be for people with temporary or situational disabilities. In earlier lectures, we have read about situational disability and so for temporary. So it is not only for the people who have some permanent disability, it is actually to think that these guidelines cannot be missed for those people which we can be those people actually. It's not only them, it also can be us. It's actually for all, it's not for one. So color contrast analyzers are important before designing and also midway designing and in the final stage of designing of the website to ensure all these guidelines of WCAG based on color contrast is actually met. Now as you can see here, I think it's very much pretty understandable what is 4:1 playing and what is 1.2:1 is playing. This visibility is even understandable on the screen itself. Now imagine for the people who have low vision. Now imagine for the people who is under a bright sunlight. Now imagine for the people who are of elder age. Again, with some few examples we can see that how contrast and color contrast is so important. Is it even visible? Is it even readable? Now, coming to a very important, interesting example, which is harder to read. Obviously, as it mentioned that the black color on blue is harder to read versus white ink on the blue is easier because black and blue are on nearer scale in the color wheel, which will actually absorbing the light. That is why it's getting darker. It's actually taking the brightness of the blue color. So it is very important to understand where the colors are placed on the color wheel. So that's why I said earlier, it's a design issue. Now summarizing of what we understood in today's case study. As we know that in India, in a country with diversity, 26 million citizens are with any kind of disability. Exclusion of person with disability stands as a barrier to the full society. Not only for them, but we are also failing as a society. Accessibility is also important from human right perspective. It's not about goodwill that, okay, our website has given or maintained the accessibility guidelines. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Need for grievance cell for non-accessibility complaints and penalty procedure. So there should be some grievance cell where we should be able to complain if we can say that the accessibility guidelines are not met or it is not perceivable to us. Accessibility needs to be imbibed as a regular design practice to make life easier for persons with disabilities. But I say it's not only for people with disabilities, it's for everyone. We can be in that position as well. So that can be us. That is not for one, that is for all. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's an equity. And then only India will be a truly digitalized country. Thank you.